everybody, how's it going? Glenn Fricker here from SpectreSoundStudios, and I want to show you how to take a drum sound from this to this using nothing but the stock plugins in Cubase. All right, so no word of a lie, I just started working with Cubase last night. I finally got around to installing it and thought, hey, you know what? This would be a cool tutorial to do. My good friend Alex from over at Gear Gods has been on my case for the last couple of months. You got to try Cubase. You got to try Cubase. So I was playing around with it last night. I'm like, damn, you know, the built-in effects are freaking spectacular. They're just great. You can get such a massive drum mix with these, and you really don't have to go outside of the whole Cubase ecosystem. Everything's kind of right there, right where you need it. So we're going to put together a drum mix based off this. We got some pretty stellar tracks courtesy Jackson Ward. Anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to shape those and get them to sound absolutely freaking massive. So let's take a look at what we've got here first. We've got 3 kick mics, 2 snare mics, 3 toms, a pair of overheads. That looks to be a stereo track there. Yep, pair of rooms, hats and china, and then there's, you know, bass and guitar and everything else that I might take you through on a secondary tutorial if you want to see how I reamp guitars and would mix those kind of things. First thing we want to do is we're going to take all 3 of these kick sounds here. Just take a listen to them real quick here. That's a Beta 91. I think that's a Lewitt D6. I could be wrong there. And that's a sub kick. That's actually done by Sullivan, and I use those all the time. Jackson was the guy who actually turned me on to those. Those things are absolutely phenomenal. So what we're going to do is we're going to select these 3 tracks here and make sure I get this right. And what we're going to do is not put them there. That's the wrong drop down menu. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Add a group channel to selected channels. Let's see what we get. And that is going to set us up here. We're set that up stereo inside out, create inside folder, and we're going to call this kick bus. What's that's going to let us do? All right. Yeah, we've got a blue bus track here. And if we pop that off, that's all 3 of our kick mics right in place, right where they need to be. So what I'm going to do here, though, is I'm going to take a look at the sub kick itself. So what I want to do is I want to get in here and I want to EQ this sub kick for subharmonic frequencies. We want that thump. We want that punch. So the one thing I love about Cubase is just the EQs, like right here. It's the easiest thing in the universe to work with. And then we've got the EQ strip here, and we can punch that up as well. So, and the really amazing thing is the E button here. I edit channel settings. This is just freaking awesome. It gives us gate, compressor, EQ, pretty much everything you need to do your mix is right at your fingertips. Holy crap, I'm so impressed with that. And then a great big graphical display of it as well. So let's take a listen here. And you can see right where the sub kick region is. And all we're going to do is we're going to grab the high frequencies and we're going to take them right. Let's turn this on, and then we're going to take this out, and there we go. Drag that down this way. Because this is sub kick, we want to get rid of everything above it. We just want to kind of get, you know, the low, you know, 90 to 100 to 120 hertz region. And then we're going to take a boost right here. No, not that one. We're going to take this one here. This is a parametric boost right here. We're going to widen this up a bit. Let's punch that in and out. And we're rocking. Okay, you can just hear a bit of the snare kind of bleeding into the kick and whatnot. So that's our sub kick just mixed like so. And pop that back at the beginning here. Take another listen. Let's take a listen to what we got here. Okay. Now that sounds a lot like there's a ton of bleed and whatnot. So we're going to hit the channel inspector there. We're going to throw on the gate. And let's just see what we can get this to do here. What we want to do is we just want to get a nice thick kick sound coming out of this. Hear that snap, hear that punch, and get rid of that, all that, you know, tom bleed and all that kind of thing. Let's just start playback here again. We just want to pull the threshold back, find the sweet spot there. Yep, let's EQ this a little bit. Let's take that out a little bit, and let's throw in a high frequency. I gotta EQ this as a group, I think. But just getting that gate right is oh so important. I like that. And just gate this out as well. Cool. Now we're just going to blend these two mics together right here. And bring in the sub kick. And I think that should do the trick. Now we're going to throw a global EQ and compressor on the whole thing and get it to work together as one. That was why we bust everything. Take a peek here. So here's our global channel. Let's take a look at EQ first. Let's throw a little bit of high end. And we're going to roll off just a tiny bit of the bottom. Maybe a little less mids. Might get rid of some of the boxiness. Cool. There's our EQ. Let's throw a little compression on this, see what we get. We're going to go vintage compressor, which is like their version of basically the 1176, and this is great. You just can't go wrong with this thing, as far as I'm concerned. This thing's just magnificent. I love this thing on drums. I set to punch mode. Get a bit of compression going, and we're going to turn down the overall gain on that. Fast release. We don't even need that much input. We punch this in and out. Listen to this in and out of the mix here. And there we go. There's our kick mic. And take everything down from that point forward. And let me just select a bunch of these channels here. There we go. Alt Shift. Take that down. So there's our kick mic. And that's hammering pretty well right there. We're going to continue on with the snare in just a minute. Okay, so next up, we're going to move on to the snare drum, and the snare's two elements. Looks like a 57 on top and might be a condenser of some sort on the bottom. That's 57 on the top. There's a condenser on the bottom. So what we want to do is take these two tracks and add them to a group channel, just like we did with the kick. And there we go. Let's take a listen. Same idea. Now we've got both snare mics working together on the same fader. We can treat them as a group. So that's way too much bottom snare for my taste. Okay, a couple things we're going to do. First, I want to take that honk out of the snare, and you can tell it's going to be right in this region, right in here somewhere. So let's take a look here. Do a narrow cut there. Bam! There we go. That's a lot of that annoying area taken out. Now we're going to throw out a little bit of top. Not too bad. We're going to watch the paper area right in here. Not bad. Let's give it a little bit of a low frequency roll off. Maybe a bit of a boost right in the thump area. Let's see if we can change that to a parametric. Cool. Let's punch that in and out and see what we get. Oh, that's kind of neat. Okay. So there's our snare EQ. And let's throw a compressor on it as well. Say 4-to-1 ratio is always a good start. And like I said, I'm just kind of in love with this vintage compressor that they've got. It's just great. We want to go with this. We want to use a slow attack. Let that initial transient through and fast release. Take a listen, shall we? And just start adding in compression. Now notice when we start compressing, we're hearing a lot more of those bottom snares. So if we click over here, we're going to bring that down a little bit and just start blending that mic combination just a tiny bit better. That snare is really slamming now. It's important to remember when you're compressing that when you add more compression, especially with this compressor here, when you add more on the input, it makes it louder. And remember, louder is always better. At least that's what we hear. So it's always important to keep turning your output down and punch them in and out so you're hearing the compression and not just the overall volume boost. Try the punch button. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference here. Kind of like it without it. Yeah. We've got mix control. We're going to dial in just how much of the original signal we want to leave. I kind of like it aggressive like this. And last thing we're going to do is just add in a bit of a gate because it really freaking needs it. Now, there's a little bit of bleed there. Pull the threshold back. We're going to go like 200 millisecond release time, maybe 300. If we punch that out, That sounded pretty interesting. Wow. Bring that kick down just a little bit. It's kind of overbearing on the snare. Okay, next up, we're going to do overheads because, you know, we need to hear some of what's going on up top. And when you're doing overheads in metal, just remember one very important thing is that you don't need a lot of low frequencies because you're getting that from the close mics. So we're just going to add a low pass filter, bring that in. You can roll off all the way up to 600, 700 hertz. Like, that's how much we're really taking. Okay, that's 900. That's pushing it a little bit. Right around 500, 600 hertz is a good place to start. And it just cleans it right up. Let's take a listen. That's pretty cool. We're gonna get to the we'll get to the room mics, and I think we're gonna do tom mics last. So that's where we start with the overheads. Now room mics, these are pretty cool. So we want to get fairly aggressive with these though. And that usually means let's start with a compressor. And again, we're going to pull up my favorite compressor this week. And that is this thing, except we're going to set it to a 20-to-1 ratio and just get super aggressive with it. Fast attack, fast release, and let's just make it nasty. Let's try it on auto, see what we get. It's pretty smooth, actually. I like that. Those room mics really do add quite a bit when you punch them in and out. Now, the only thing I'm noticing here is a lack of bottom end on the kick. Since we started bringing other elements into the mix, it seems to be disappearing a little bit. I don't know if it's a phase issue going on with the sub kick in the rooms. Let's take another listen. If that's the case, what we can do, we'll move the EQ before this, and we're just going to roll off a bit of the low end here. That way we still got that mid-range and top-end niceness, but all the bottom-end thump, the really, really important low end, is still coming from the close mics. It's all just bouncing at this point. And basically, we're almost there. We just got to throw in the tom mics. All right, everybody. So I'm going to pause this episode here, and we're going to pick up the rest of it next week because this episode was a little bit longer than I was expecting it to be. In the meantime, if you want to learn some cool stuff about making records and how to mix and all that kind of stuff, check out Pro Mix Academy. We've got a sale on the Ultimate Rock Mixing Bundle going on right now, and it's 15 hours of video lessons like this by myself. I've got my producing prog metal lesson in there, as well as my mixing math rock lesson. Motorhead's got a lesson in there. Cameron Webb walks you through it. He's also got an Aquabats track. And Ulrich Wild takes you through a Galacticon song by Brendan Small. Brendan Small, you guys remember, did all the music for the Metalocalypse TV series. Definitely worth checking out. I'm going to have a link in the description below. Until next time, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And keep working your ass off at mixing your ass off. See you next time. Hey guys, if you liked the video, be sure to subscribe as I post every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. If you want to learn more about recording, check out one of my tutorials or one of my gear reviews if you want the actual honest truth about a piece of equipment. Till next time, stay metal, my friends.